guys, it's Bree. Welcome back to my channel. So I am reacting to this video called 6 Signs of a Toxic Person. Stuff like this is important because it's really hard to determine who's toxic when you're in it. Like when you're in that situation, you don't tend to see the signs. So sometimes it's okay to get like second opinions if you have friends that are kind of looking out for you, being like, hey, like, are you, like, do you like friends who will point out certain things about the person that you're with, or even people that you're friends with that you may not see for yourself. And a lot of times, out of us just being loyal to our friends, we can get, kind of defensive, and we, choose not to see certain things. But I can honestly say that, looking back, I was definitely friends with some very toxic people, and I could not see it until I was kind of forced to remove myself from those people. And now I like see, like, yeah, those people definitely shouldn't have been in my life. And there were plenty of times where people around me kept telling me to stop talking to these people and to block them and just stop interacting with them, stop forgiving them. And I just couldn't see it because I was trying to be like this super loyal friend and trying to hold on to the friendship. And yeah, you can't do that. So I'm really curious to see what signs they come up with. So let's watch.
Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Before we begin this video, we at Psych2Go would like to give you a huge thank you for all the love and support. Now, let's continue with the video.
Hmm.
We all have people in our lives who give us a hard time sometimes. Maybe it's because you disagree, don't get along, or simply dislike each other. However, difficult people aren't the same as toxic ones. A toxic person is a negative influence in your life who exploits you and drains your energy with their needless
Drains
drama,
your energy.
leaving you emotionally exhausted. If
Yes,
you're not careful, a toxic relationship can rob you of all of your happiness, motivation,
it
and self
can.
esteem over time.
It happened to
To
me.
help you figure out if there's someone in your life who's toxic for you, here are 6 telltale signs of a toxic person. 1. They abuse you. Whether it's physically or emotionally,
Mentally.
abusing another person in any way is never acceptable. No matter how often they say they'll change, it's always best to cut ties with someone once abuse starts to happen, especially if it's intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Based on a study by Moore and Kirkham, abusers will often wreak havoc on their victims' lives because the lower the victim's self esteem, the more suggestible and easier to exploit they become.
Yep.
To find
They
out if
use you.
someone is abusive, especially when their actions are mistaken as good intentions or love, try watching our previous video titled 10 Red Flags of Abuse, linked in the description. 2. They're manipulative. They are compulsive liars who are incredibly charming. For example, they
Yes.
insist an incident didn't happen
Hold
when it
on.
did.
Hold on. I'm gonna pause it real quick. Oh, by the way, if you guys, because I don't know like how you guys like for reactions to go, like, because for me, I don't want to talk over the video, so I pause it so I can like make comments. But if that bothers you and just want me to like just watch straight through and just talk, or just save my comments at the end, just let me know how you guys want these reactions to go. But for right now, I'm just gonna pause it when I have like something to say. So yes, being manipulative is like a for sure sign that someone is toxic. And I think, what did she say? What did she say? Let me go back. Hold up. Let me go back a little bit. What did she say?
Charming, for example.
Charming. I had friends that were very very toxic, but they were charming. They had like a certain way with words, and it's like they made everything sound okay. They made it to where you always felt for them even though they were doing you blatantly wrong. They had a way of saying things to make it seem like you were overreacting, or there wasn't any ill intent behind what they were doing when there actually was. So watch out for that. Watch for people that always, they don't take accountability for what they do, and they try to, they try to explain it in a way that almost makes you feel bad for calling them out on something.
They insist an incident didn't happen when it did, or they insist that they did or said something when they didn't. Have you ever met someone like this?
Yes.
If yes, Do you often end up questioning your own sanity because
I
they're so
have
good at
before.
it?
I don't do that
This
no
is
more.
also known as gaslighting.
Mm-hmm.
They do so because it's an extremely devious way for them to get out of trouble.
Yeah.
3. They exploit you. Based on a 2015 study by Gross and others, showing toxic people compassion and sympathy only makes you a prime target for them to latch onto. They exploit your kindness and use your good
Yes.
nature against you. They pretend to care about you to
Hold
weaponize
on.
you.
Yep. Exactly. Cause for me, I am like naturally like I'm a giving person and I'm really, really nice. And I feel like definitely back in high school, I feel like I was way too nice to people. And people picked up on that and they tend to use that to their advantage. And they knew that they could keep treating me however they wanted to, and all I was going to do is keep forgiving them and bringing them back into my life, and I would never really like I of course I would say something and stand up for myself, but I'll always end up forgiving them and giving them the benefit of the doubt. And sometimes I even ended up apologizing for reacting a certain way because something that they did. And so definitely watch out for that. I think she said something too about people pretending like they care about you. That as well, like there are some people that will only care about you, or only they'll act like they'll care if it benefits them in some way, but then once they have no use for you, then they just don't care anymore. So definitely watch out for that.
They look out for themselves and only have their best interest in
Yeah,
mind, but will
only have their
often
best.
demand that
Yeah.
you prioritize them and attend to their needs.
Yeah.
4. They take things out on you.
Yeah.
Toxic people often treat those.
I'm sorry. Okay. I'm sorry. Yes. Like I had that issue too, because I'm so like emotional and I'm such an empath. I have no issue expressing my emotions, and let me sit back, and dealing with my emotions. Like I have no issue doing that, but I would always attract friends that couldn't do that. They couldn't handle their emotions, and they would just bundle everything up inside, everything that they were going through. They would just keep it like inside of them, and then they would take it all out on me, and then I would be the one dealing with all their issues. I would take all the yelling and, just being rude or whatever. They would take that all out on me because they knew that they could do that. So you have to watch out for that as well.
Around them like psychological punching bags.
Yeah,
Whenever
I
they're
was a
faced with a
punching bag
problem,
for
they tend to deal
everybody.
with it by taking it out on others and projecting their negative feelings on someone else. For
Yes.
example, they put you down by treating you with hurtful sarcasm and thinly veiled judgment
Yes.
so that they
All the
feel better about
time.
themselves.
Sorry.
A toxic person will prey on your insecurities and
They
make you feel bad
will.
about yourself because,
Yes.
as the saying goes, misery loves company. 5. They never compromise. Have you ever dealt with people who have an unhealthy desire to be right all the time and only want to do things their way? It can be exhausting
It
just to be
can
around
be.
them, isn't it? They may believe that they're right about everything and thus will often try to intimidate and control you into doing things their way. They refuse to hear you out or see things from your point of view and
Yeah.
get upset with you when you don't follow their demands. This
I had
kind
a
of
friend like
toxic
that too.
behavior can trap you in a vicious cycle of frustration and powerlessness against someone who
Yes.
simply can't be reasoned with.
Don't be
And
in a friendship
finally,
if you can't
they
compromise.
always play the victim card. Toxic
I want to
people
speak on
enjoy
this
claiming
too
the
because I don't know who's watching this. But this whole I hate the word victim, and I'm going to explain to you why. Now there are people who have victim mentalities. Like no matter what, there is always like this is what I'm going to say, because this is why this is kind of triggering for me, because I've dealt with mental health issues and stuff before in the past, and a lot of times I would be looking for some type of comfort in, my friends or just other people. And people throw around the word victim way too much, to the point where I don't even think people know what victim means. If someone disagrees with you on something, or say you're trying to give someone advice and they don't agree with your advice, they're not playing victim. Playing victim is when you're like like you're trying to help someone that you know, you're trying to help someone that you know or that you're close with, and no matter what you say, they just want to be like not in the wrong. They want to be, they want people to feel sorry for them no matter what. So you could give them like all of these solutions, and they're just like, no, like I'm just, it's just, life just is like, I don't know how to explain it, but you guys know what it looks like. But I've been in situations where people will give me unsolicited advice, and I tell them like, hey, like I appreciate your advice, but I've either already tried to do that, or like I sometimes I just don't agree with what people say, or I've already done what they're trying to, like if they tell me like, "Oh, maybe you should do this or do that." I'd be like, "Well, I've already tried that and it hasn't worked." And then people will turn around and get mad at me and call me the victim and say that I'm like I hate it. I hate when people say that I play victim when I'm simply disagreeing with them. And it's always people who don't know me. It's always people who feel the need to insert their opinions on my situation. And then when I choose not to accept their advice, then it's, oh, you're playing victim. You want people to feel sorry for you. And it's like, I didn't even ask you to message me. I didn't ask you for your advice. I didn't ask you for anything. You inserted yourself into what I was going through, and then when I said something that you didn't like, then all of a sudden it's, I'm playing the victim. Like, cause for me, like I've had, a battle with depression like my entire life. And it's gotten a whole lot better as of lately. But like I just, a lot of people don't understand mental health. And I feel like if you don't understand it, just be a comforting and listening ear to people who do suffer with that. Don't try to fix people, because my issue with people in the past is that they would use that whole, oh well, if you're sad, just be happy. They obviously they wouldn't say that directly, but it would be one of those things of like, oh, just don't think about it, don't be upset over this, or just be positive. And it's like, it doesn't work like that. Like I can't just wake up and be like, okay, I'm gonna be happy today if I have stuff going on up here that's like messing with me. Like I never understood that. Are people being like, oh, just if your friends are treating you bad, just throw them all away and make new friends. None of that stuff is easy. And if I'm literally telling you like if you're telling me to cut somebody off that I've been cool with for years, and I say, well, like I really, like I really want them in my life. I don't want to cut them off just yet. Like like I say all that to say to stop judging other people, and that's not what this video is even doing. I don't want the people who make this video to take any offense to this. If I'm I'm just speaking from my own personal experience as far as like with the whole victim thing. There are people who do like to play victim, and they always want sympathy from people. But just because someone doesn't agree with something that you say, or they don't do what you tell them to do, doesn't mean that they're playing victim. It's different if they are refusing to get better, or they're refusing to better the situation. That's one thing. If you're dealing with someone that's just feeling hopeless, that's like depression. That's not them playing victim, and they don't want to be sad. They don't want to be in that. They just can't see themselves or their lives getting any better. So that's why they're in this funk of like, no matter what I do, everything is like, I don't know. I just think people need to be more empathetic to other people. And if you don't have that in you, then don't even like get into that, or don't even try to like get into that person's business or try to help them, because clearly you can't. But anyway, I'm sorry.
The role of the victim because they don't want to take responsibility and accountability for anything.
Yeah, that's okay.
To them,
One last thing.
nothing.
She said victims don't take accountability. I do take accountability for my actions. If you tell me that I'm doing something, most of the time, like, and I can prove this because I save all of my text messages. I take accountability. If you tell me that I, like, for example, people used to tell me that I used to come off very needy when it came to making friends. Like I gave off that I wanted friends badly, and I owned that, and I was like, okay, so what do I do moving forward to not come across that way? Or just something like stuff like that. Like people would tell me about myself, and I will take it. I'll literally be like, okay, I can see how I could be like that. Like when people tell me that I'm overly emotional, I can see that because here I am now, ranting over the word victim because it's like triggering to me. So I think that, yeah, like, anyway, let's finish.
Nothing is ever their fault. Whether it's something they do or fail to do, it's always someone else's fault. They have double standards. If they get mad, it's your fault for disappointing them. But if you get upset, it's your fault for having unreasonable expectations. In the end, while all of us can be problematic at times,
At
there's a difference between
times.
being flawed and being toxic. Do any of these signs remind you of someone in your life? If so, what do you plan to do
Clearly I
next?
answered that
What
question. Yeah, I mean, I think I've said everything I had to say at this point. Toxic people suck, and they can really take a toll on your mental health. As you can see, I'm still like recovering from having like toxic people in my life for years because they've just messed with my mind and made me think of myself in a certain way. And now that I've gotten rid of those people, I'm much more confident. I'm much more sure in who I am, and I just try to avoid people like this if you can. If you're seeing these signs, just cut these people out if you're comfortable with doing that. If you're not, slowly start to build up those boundaries and focus on meeting new people. It is a process. People act like it's just day and night. You just cut people off and move on. It doesn't work like that. If you try to cut somebody off that you're not ready to cut off, then it won't actually be done, because then that person could come apologize and you bring them back into your life. Like, you have to do things on your own time, and you have to be mentally ready to, like, it's not even just about like blocking someone from your phone or not responding to people or their messages or whatever. You have to mentally cut them off, and people don't talk about that. People don't talk about the fact that you have to mentally cut a person out of your life, and that takes time, especially if there was time in there's a lot of stuff invested into those friendships, relationships, whatever. You can't just cut those off if you have like years worth of memories with that person, or you just been around that person for a long time. It's hard to, you have to like literally picture your life without them, and sometimes that can be hard and that could take a lot of time to process. So just do things at your own time, but at the end of the day, put you in your mental state first before anybody else. But anyway, I have done enough talking. I made this video almost 20 minutes long, and it's only a 4 to 5 minute video. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure you guys give it a big thumbs up and comment down below your thoughts, please, as I've been sitting here ranting and raving. And please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!